Hi, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Candice, and this is Izu. This week is episode 1 of Conversations with Candice. So let's get to the video. In this week's video, I'm going to be speaking with fellow MS warrior Melanie. We're going to be discussing MS and the ups and downs along the way. Before we get there, let's talk about this sweater. This sweater is from the company New Scotland, which is a local company in Nova Scotia. And they're selling these sweaters as well as they have a t-shirt, and a certain percentage of the portions go toward the MS Society of Canada. Just want to be clear, this is not sponsored. I just really like this company and this sweater is super comfy. So I have fellow MS warrior Melanie here with me today. She's a MS warrior and I'm lucky enough to call her my friend. I was just thinking about the first time I met you.
First time we met.
It was at a WAMS gala, and
right.
you had spoke.
Yes.
And
Judith sat us together.
Yeah, but you told your story when you got up there, and I'm like, oh, she just told my story, because it was very similar to everything that I had, like minus the running part, because I don't run. But other than that, I was like, we need to be friends.
Yeah. No, and it's true. It's funny because then hearing you speak, I'm kind of like, wow, we do have very, very similar experiences with a disease that is not similar with everybody.
No, it's very different.
Yeah.
And
I guess the biggest similar that drew us together was we both were Lemtrada patients.
Right.
And then there weren't many of us in the Maritimes that were, very few. So I felt very fortunate to have someone my age in my community that I could reach out and go, during your second, we'll go with this. Is this what happened? Like, it was just nice to know that you could talk to someone who goes, what's Lemtrada? Instead of someone saying, So.
What year did you have your first dose of Lemtrada?
So in November of 2020, I was 5 years post my first one. So
you're 2015?
Yeah, it was my first week of it.
Okay. I think that mine was, I don't remember, it was 2016 or 2017. You would think I would remember. I think it was 2017.
When I spoke at WAM, you had it done that year.
Yeah.
So 2017.
Yeah, that's when I had it. So I was like a year and a half after you-ish. Yeah. But it was still like, I was a year and a half after you, and it was still like really new. I remember going in there and the nurse was like talking on the phone to figure out how they're going to open clinics in different places in the province and in different provinces.
Yes. Yeah. So, they were doing the thing when I was there.
Yeah.
Nurse I actually had for my first week was going to New Brunswick when she was done that day to actually train the RNs or the nurse practitioners that were going to be infused, starting to infuse patients like the following like month or two.
Yeah, exactly.
So it has really grown to now they talk about, they use in the UK, they use Lemtrada as your first kick at the can. And it's kind of like, well, we have one option left. Why don't we try it? And now like a first line of defense, which I think is aggressive, but I think this disease has to be treated aggressively.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Can you just like give me the Coles notes on your just like your MS story, like diagnosis? You don't.
Okay. So 15 years ago, I woke up one morning and literally had no peripheral vision in my probably 17 years ago, no peripheral vision in my left eye. And I thought it was stress because it was the day my dad was getting remarried and emotional like that. So I figured it would just go away, and it didn't. And then I ended up at a red eye clinic, which, they're like, oh, do you know what MS is? We're going to send you for an MRI. And that's how this ball started. And it took probably 2+ years to be finally diagnosed.
Okay.
It did start with optic neuritis, and it has kind of spread from there aggressively for a period of 3 or 4 years, very aggressively. I walked with a walker, walked with a cane. I could some days hold a tea, and some days I would drop a tea. So it was quite aggressive too. And that, I think, is the reason why I ended up being a candidate for Lemtrada. And I did my first week of that in 2015 and my second in 2016. So
Okay. Are you happy with the results of the Lemtrada treatment?
beyond,
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah.
So for someone who was walking, I mean, we had sold our house at one point, moved into an accessible apartment because I could see the wheelchair coming. I was just progressively getting worse. I wasn't recovering after every steroid treatment. Like they, your baseline was just getting worse and worse and worse. And then they, the clinic said, this is it. This is the last option we have. And we're going to try it. And you're going to hate it. And probably at day 3, you're hate us. And so I went from a cane and a walker to, I lost a bunch of weight after Lemtrada, and I started walking and then taught myself how to run. So I am overall enthused and very, very lucky that my Lemtrada did take hold. I've had some issues, but luckily, I guess, I've never had to access the third round that's kind of floating there somewhere that you can get access to. I have needed that, which is a blessing. So, and I'm quite healthy right now, even with some of the minor things.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I think that what my neurologist told me one time, not that long, well, I guess it is a long time ago because it's been before 2020 that I'd seen him. He said the more they've learned about this disease and the treatments that they've used, the less they actually know.
Yeah.
So when I was first diagnosed 15 years ago, he told me, same neurologist, he told me that I will see a cure in my lifetime. Like he was that, and he said, you will see it. And fast forward 13 years. And his answer now is the more they learn, the less they actually know.
Yeah.
And that was probably the hardest news to hear, even though, even though it's always in the back of your mind, you'll never see a cure for this cancer. Do you know what I mean? Like it's those diseases that is just going to always plague us. And then for him to say that, I don't think he said it to be negative. It was just kind of like, wow, like, it's true. I don't know if I will see a cure. I don't know. So.
And I guess I'm a realist.
Yeah. Like
I don't expect to see it. I don't expect to.
I'm not Pollyanna going, oh, I can't wait. Like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, like, I would just like to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Like I just live a good long life.
Yeah.
Preferably not in a wheelchair. However, I would take it and roll with it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I've learned is you have to learn to roll with the punches.
You definitely have to.
Yeah. Someone with a type A, like this is the way things are, personality, and MS would not get along well.
No.
They would have a hard struggle because it is all about the gray area. So
it is. Literally. It definitely is. It definitely is. What do you think you would tell someone who was diagnosed today?
What would I tell someone today diagnosed? Well, I went through it at Christmas time. My nephew was diagnosed.
Okay.
So very, very, someone quite close to my heart.
Right.
And the biggest thing I had to tell him was to have hope. Don't count yourself out. Like don't dig the grave. Like you're not dying. Like you can live a long, healthy life. But you have to take care of yourself. So I guess the biggest thing I would tell anyone was to have hope. And it is your body's wake up call that you need to take care of you. So.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And you don't have a choice. Like it's
no choice.
When you're given the choice and you're like, I have to choose me over everything else. It's like, the choice is gone, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's
like regardless of what life you live, you have to make yourself a priority. And that's a struggle for moms and
Yeah.
dads
Yeah.
who really are probably at the end of the day the last person on their list that they take care of.
Mhm.
They have to become one of the first people that they take care of, and
Yeah.
that's a big mind shift for
Yes,
anybody. So
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you find you have a good support network?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I have a group of support people like yourself, like
Mhm.
that have lived this and they know what I'm going through. Because as much as my friends say, "Oh, I hear what they don't understand." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they can sympathize, like they can feel bad when I'm having a bad day, but they
Mhm.
really don't grasp it. But
Right.
no, I have wonderful support of. I don't have any family in the city,
Mhm.
like immediate family. So my friends, my running friends, my scrapbooking friends
Mhm.
are quite honestly probably my family.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah, family doesn't have to be blood. So,
no, no, it doesn't at all. So
no. So, well, that's good. What would you say, like, what does MS mean to you? I know you've told me about it, medication, like, aside from that, what does MS mean to you?
me personally,
Yeah.
so MS for me was a life changer. And I know that I'm like, oh, duh, Melanie, you have a chronic illness, but in a very different way. I think that actually not that I think, I know that I am a better person
Mhm.
because of my MS.
Mhm.
Um, and it taught me humility, and it taught me to accept help, and it taught me to rest when I need it, and to treat everybody with kindness because you don't know what they're going through. And that's the biggest thing, because if you look good, you must feel great.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
Kim? You got it, girl. You know I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, like, Mel, you look great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
If
you.
only you knew.
Awesome. But yeah, it quite honestly, I would say made me a much better human
Mhm.
than probably the path I was on. Not that I was a bad person beforehand, that's not what I'm saying, but I think that it shifted my entire life. Like it,
Mhm.
some people are like, don't let it change your life. I actually let it change everything about my life,
Mhm.
but not necessarily in a bad way. It
Right.
really like helped shape me to be a good human being.
Mhm.
So yeah.
And people say don't let it change you, but you don't have a choice. It changes you.
As
Like it's
soon
not, it
as
does.
soon as you say, "Oh, Candice, is really nice to meet you," and someone says, "Yeah, this is Candice, her and I've done the Lemtrada treatments." "Oh, you have MS," and they get the head tilt.
And they're like, oh, how are you?
Right.
But you
Right.
look so good.
You look so good.
Well, thank you.
Anyways, and
But
I mean, I'm not, and yeah, damn, I'm glad someone says I look good. Like
yes,
that, that's good to
yes.
hear. Like, because there are some days that there is a war battling inside my body,
Mm-hmm.
and you just try not to
Mm-hmm.
show it on the outside,
Yep.
and that is exhausting.
Yes, it
So
is.
yeah, it is exhausting.
What do you do? I guess, what do you do to bring awareness from us?
Um, well, I've spoken at several events that the MS Society has asked me to in the past. Um, I, I've had people reach out to me who've had family members recently diagnosed, and
Mm-hmm.
they really don't know what the hell to do. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know what to say. So I'm not necessarily talking to Sarah, who has been diagnosed. It may be Sarah's sister
Mm-hmm.
that's like, Mel, like, what are the top 10 things never to say to someone with
Yeah.
MS? Like there's a meme that goes around about that.
Yes.
Like 8 of the 10 of them is so true.
Yep.
So true.
Yep.
So and I fundraise, like we've done in the past crops to cure MS, which is a scrapbooking event. I attempted a marathon in
Mm-hmm.
2019, and that was an ongoing fundraiser for the entire training program that I
Mm-hmm.
did. And I participate in the MS walk, and I don't pretend that my MS doesn't exist. Like it's not a dirty little secret.
No.
Like, and I think the more freely people talk about it, the more people will maybe not understand, but have a bit more, uh, no, maybe understanding, a bit more of an understanding of what people who live with, not just MS,
Exactly.
but people who live with invisible illnesses,
Right.
what they go through on a daily
Mhm.
basis. Yeah, so kind of all over the place, I guess.
Well, and I 100% agree with what you say, like people's reaction when you tell them and stuff.
Mm. And I
It's
mean, now for me, 15 years later, I'm
yeah.
kind of like, I'm like, it is what it is, like,
Yeah.
oh, that must be why you don't have children.
Oh yes,
And
I've got that as well. Yeah.
right. That's a bad judgment on someone's
Yes.
part. However, it's not what I've realized actually in the last 15 years. What I realized is that 90% of the people we'll meet in our
Mhm.
lives are not malicious, and they're not mean spirited, and they're not saying these things or asking the most personal, inappropriate questions um, out of malice. They really just don't have a clue.
Yeah.
They
100%. Yeah.
So I have to remember that every
Mhm.
chance that I have that I can correct someone
Mhm.
or offer an insight to that, I
Right.
think that makes MS more normal to people
Yeah.
and um, more accepted, I guess.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to point out your sweater that you have on right now. I had it
Yeah.
on in the intro video for this.
Yes.
It's New Scotland Clothing. Is it 10% of the proceeds from
I think so. Yeah.
this shirt, and they also have a t-shirt as well, is going to the MS Society.
But figure out what's
Yeah.
missing in our genes or our
Right.
DNA
Right.
environment
Yeah.
to help prevent this from ever happening
Well,
to
it's
any
like I have
other
a
generation.
2-year-old niece. Why can they
Right.
find out to make sure that she's not going to get it? Like I'm the only one in my family that has it,
Yeah.
but hopefully it stays like that. Do you have anything else you want to add to our little talk here? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say?
Well, the walk is coming. Unfortunately,
Yes.
we are locked down.
Yeah.
However, May 30th, a virtual MS walk. Um, I put in a team with a bunch of my close friends that
Mhm.
now we may all have to walk individually, which makes it difficult.
Yeah.
However, still fundraising away,
Yeah.
and until the world gets vaccinated and we
Yeah.
return to normal,
Yeah.
virtual is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So you can support this fundraiser. They're
Yeah.
trying to raise
Support that one. Just support the MS Society,
MS Society of Canada.
or just support your friend who has MS that you know, because guaranteed everyone knows of someone who has MS because it's so common in Canada.
The biggest thing I would say to anybody out there who might watch our video today
Mhm.
is no two MS patients look the same. And I don't actually mean physically.
Yeah.
What you experience, Candice, and what
Mhm.
I experience are very
Not the
different.
same. Yeah.
Same disease, same treatment plan,
Yeah.
way different
Yeah.
symptomologies.
It might have started out similar, but it's been very different along the way.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
just and educate yourselves
Mhm. Yeah.
so you can be a good support
Yeah. Don't make an assumption.
ever.
Yeah.
They exist out
Yeah.
there. Displays are set up.
Yeah.
So today, what I can say is I'm very lucky. I'm lucky that
Mhm.
I am who I am and where I am. I
Yeah.
have wonderful people in my life. You included, my
Thank
dear.
you. The same with you.
And I wait for the day that I can give you a hug in
Yeah,
person
I
and
know.
mask and stand 6 feet
I
from you.
know.
Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.